Hey girl, hey, and dudes too. Listen, you're here for another episode of the Trulogy podcast where your old self died and the new self resurrect. Today I have with me Isaac Ike White.
What's going on? How you doing?
I am so glad to have you here today. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, me
Ooh,
too.
I'm on
Yeah.
10, bro.
Hey, I'm
I
excited.
gotta calm down.
Yeah, come on. No, thank you for having me. No, seriously, I'm excited about the conversation we're gonna have.
I'm super excited. I'm
Mm-hmm.
super excited. So you know about the Trulogy,
Yes, yes,
and there's a lot of young people out there right now that needs to know. Not just young people. Let me toss that out the window. Not just
yeah.
young people. People. There's lots
Everybody.
of people. Men, women, young people,
Yeah,
older people. People that have become stuck and stagnant and trying to figure that thing out
yeah,
right
right.
now. And there's some people that surround you that says particularly that they're there to lift you up and to help you, but when you feel you truly don't have that direction, you
Mm-hmm.
don't know which way to turn.
Yep,
And sometimes we turn to the wrong places in order to get support,
yep.
and when we get the wrong results, it's discouraging,
Yes,
and you turn away and you leave your purpose.
yes.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So really, number one, I think that you mentioned people that support you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like there's people around you that say they support you,
Mm-hmm.
but only to a certain extent.
That's what I'm talking about.
So what happens is you get good at what you do,
Yeah.
and they're happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get better at them at it,
Mm,
and you really get to see if they truly support you or not.
that part.
And so, you know, I feel like having the right people around you, number one, is
Yeah.
important to the purpose that God has placed on your life. And then number two, not letting the results deter you. You mentioned how we don't get the results, it becomes discouraging, and then we give up.
Give up.
But I think that it's important to say that just because you don't get the results doesn't mean that you should return to what you used to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I believe that
Uh-huh.
I was placed on this earth for a purpose.
100%.
You believe that too?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I believe that God already designed my life, already knew exactly what it was
Yeah.
that I was placed on this earth to do.
Yeah.
And so I knew what my purpose was
Yep.
because it just felt right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
It felt right. And it was easy. It was easy. Where other people struggled, it was seamless for me.
Yeah.
You know, I felt happy while I was doing it. It didn't feel like work.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
It's like you were graced for it.
I was graced for it.
Yeah.
Loving on people, servitude in the community,
Yeah.
organizing events, podcasting, production. That's all easy for me.
Right.
Where other people get spazzed out and they get
Yeah.
nervous
They
and they
start
all over the place.
striving and working extra hard and
Yeah, I'm in my happy place.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that I truly walked into my purpose.
Mhm.
You know.
Talk about that. You talk about purpose, and I understand that has a lot to do with this podcast, the Trulogy,
Yeah.
and dying to your old self and really allowing that new self to kind of come into play.
Yeah.
Even dying to your old purpose
Yeah.
and allowing God's purpose to come alive.
Yeah.
What makes you so passionate about purpose?
So what makes me so passionate about purpose is I earlier today I actually was sitting and it's funny that you asked me that because I was hearing a bio on a lady who continued to talk about all the things that she knew how to do and that she was successful at and that she had accomplished, and she was like, and the list goes on and on and on. And I was like, whoa, that kind of almost sound like me,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been everything from a restaurant manager to a real estate agent assistant for a very successful agent.
Mm-hmm.
to a manager of a hair salon, a hairstylist,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Right.
worked in the school system for over 15
Oh
years,
wow.
started youth mentoring programs,
Yeah.
mentored over 1,200 youth here in
Right.
Baton Rouge,
Uh-huh.
started an outreach ministry, you know, did
Right.
specialized in summer camps and help people start their own summer camps.
Yeah.
The list goes on and on and on, but nothing stuck.
Hmm.
Nothing stuck. I never stayed in anything. It was like I was in search of that thing. But that was because I was in search of it. Okay, this
Hmm.
doesn't work. Okay, I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna do
Right.
this.
Right.
Okay, this doesn't feel right. I'm gonna start doing this. Okay, this doesn't feel right. I'm gonna start doing that. So I was all over the place.
Hmm.
So I had to get to a place where I could really listen to what God had to say to me.
That's really
Right?
good.
I had to get to that place where I was hearing God. And so where it started was from me journaling.
Hmm.
So I began to write stuff down.
Okay.
And I love pretty notebooks. So I
Uh-huh.
began to write all kinds of stuff
My
down in
wife
my
is the same
notebooks,
exact way. She'll
pretty
go to
pens.
Walmart, yeah, get a
Yep.
notebook, yep, and start journaling.
And so God would wake me up out my sleep.
Wow.
And I would just come up with a phrase or, something for a t-shirt, um, a poem,
Yeah.
a passage, like something. I would write down an idea for an event, just all kinds of stuff. And I had different journals for different things.
Oh wow.
So, because that's just how my mind's
So
organized.
you're an organized
I
person. That's what
am.
that sounds
I
like.
am.
Okay.
This organization makes me cringe,
Uh-huh.
right? And so I have my little books. And so I would get up and I'll go get that particular book. Oh, that I need to write down.
Yeah,
Or I
yeah.
would write down a sticky note and then I'll go back and write in the proper book.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? Or stick the
So
sticky
you
note
a
in there.
strategic, yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
And so it was right before my husband and I got married.
Hmm.
And I found myself working so many countless hours. I was working for one of the most busiest real estate agents. She was like number two in the nation, and top half of 1% in the nation,
Wow, wow.
right? And so we were busy, 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 and she traveled a lot. And I'm so thankful that I had opportunity to work for her because it stretched me beyond capacity.
Right,
You know,
right.
I find myself in the office starting very early at like 8 or 9 a.m.
Uh-huh.
and sometimes not ending until 7. And my
Right.
husband and I would be out trying to have dinner and,
Yeah, right.
contract come
And
through,
you working.
and I'm working. And it was
Yes.
never a time, very seldom were there uninterrupted times,
Yeah.
you know. And that was because I didn't only do that, but I also do outreach ministry where I lead something called Church on the Levee for Elevate Church,
Okay.
where we empower the homeless, we
Yeah,
feed
yeah.
them, but we do a service
Yeah,
out in the
awesome.
downtown area. In the past
Oh,
15
that's
years
awesome.
that we've
Yeah.
done that.
That's awesome.
Yes, it's amazing. And so with all of that, sing on the praise team, doing things in the ministry
Right. You
and
doing, you doing.
operations for my
Yeah.
husband's business, our
Uh-huh.
business, which is a film and media company.
Uh-huh.
So doing all of that, and I'm like, this is a lot.
Yes.
With her business, the other things were not really being taken care of
Right.
properly as it could have been.
Right, right.
Something has to be neglected if one thing is taking
Yeah,
all of
right.
your time. And
Yes.
so it was at that moment that I was like, something's got to change. And then he saw me, COVID happened, and I would get up and I was working from home then.
Okay.
I would jump up, literally. I was always jumping up out my sleep
Mm-hmm.
like I got to get to work. So he saw the anxiety all
Ooh.
the time.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
never a get up, get on my knees and
Right,
pray,
right.
spend a few minutes, drink coffee,
So it's
relax
almost as
before.
if you weren't okay
I
with just
wasn't
being.
okay.
Like you had to be working, you had to be doing something.
Yes. And but I wasn't happy with what my body felt like.
Yeah, right.
Right? I wasn't happy with what my body felt like. And so it was the day that he said, when you're ready, I got you.
Mm.
When you're ready. And he said, what is it that you want to do? And at that moment, I'm not sure. I have a bunch of ideas, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I prayed. And then God spoke to me. He showed me the Trulogy. He showed me Pink on Purpose,
Mm-hmm.
Women's Empowerment. He showed me teaching classes to help people with all of the resources. He showed me connecting people to the proper resources the right way
Yeah.
and loving on them through the process,
Right.
but still being able to love them with the love of God,
Right.
to introduce them to Christ in the process. He showed me that. And so I went to school and became a certified life purpose coach.
Wow. So what I'm hearing is like it's not about how much you're doing, but about like if you're doing what he's called you to do.
I had to do what he called me to do.
Cause you're still working hard.
Yeah.
It's just for the right
It's
thing
for
now.
the right
Yeah,
thing
you're
now.
right.
So it was different because I was working hard and being exhausted because it wasn't where God wanted me to be.
Right.
The money was great. Okay. The money was great.
Come on.
Okay. I'm not
But
gonna
that wasn't
complain
even
about that. The
enough,
perks,
huh?
the perks were great.
Right,
All
right,
of that was great. Had a beautiful office. I could decorate it the way I wanted.
right.
She gave me a spending allowance to go and beautify it the way I want, buy a new desk, do that, do that.
Wow.
So do whatever it is you need to make yourself comfortable because
Yeah.
I want you to be able to run this business.
Mm.
And it still wasn't
It
deep
wasn't
down in my
filling that
heart.
hole in your heart.
It wasn't. It wasn't. And that was one of the hardest things to
Yeah.
do because I really loved her. I
Right,
still love
right.
her.
Yeah.
But I felt that I wanted to be there to support the growth of her business. But God spoke also to me that said, you have a purpose.
You have a ministry that I've
You
called you to
have a
carry out.
ministry. That's it. That's it.
Thank you
And
for
so
answering
many
that
times.
question. I'm sorry to
No,
I'm so interested
no.
in
That's
the
great.
trilogy and just the you I just love it. It's just amazing.
And so I know, just based on what I've read about you,
Mhm.
doing my research, that you have also had so many opportunities to do so many things.
Yeah.
And
100%.
recently, I read that you stopped acting.
I did.
Like, what was that all about?
Yeah, so it's a can we just go there? Like
Let's
it's a
go there. So
story.
let's start. Let's start with, first of all, let everybody know, like, where could they find you? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah,
were
yeah. Let's
you
just
a
get all
part
that out
of?
the
Let's
way.
get that
All
out the
right,
way.
cool, cool, cool. So, I was an actor. I still am an actor. My name's Isaac White, obviously, but my artist name is Ike. And so, when it comes to Isaac White, Lee Daniels, the butler,
Yeah, yeah.
Oprah Winfrey, Forrest Whitaker. I actually played their son in that movie. That was the
Man,
first
that's
movie I ever did.
so
Isn't that
dope.
crazy?
That's crazy.
I didn't even feel like it at the time.
How'd you
You
get
know, I
that
was just
role?
kind of into it. Um, I had a manager and an agent, so they would send me out on auditions, and I would try to remember my lines. And my dad and we had this iPad that we would do these video auditions on. And so I would be in my mom's dining room. We try to get the lights right however we can, and now we set the camera up, and then my dad would read the scripts, and poor thing, he not an actor, so he was just trying to do his best by reading the script,
That's cool
and
though.
but he was very supportive like
Yeah.
that, and so we're reading, and we would do it like that. But for the butler, we actually went in to audition, and that's more nerve wracking because when you're at home you could do it as many times as you want. No,
Yeah.
cut it. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it right. And so, but when you in person, you get one or two.
Oh wow.
That's it. You're done. And
Wow.
so I go in. I got my lines remembered, memorized, and I do the part. And once you do the part, you film it, you walk out. That's it. You might as well just go ahead and just give it to God because you can't do nothing else about it.
Right.
You did what you had to do. That's it. So I ended up flying to LA because I had another thing that I was going up for, a Disney Channel movie that I was testing for. And so while I'm in LA, I get a call from my agent in New Orleans, and she's like, "You booked a part." And so I come back home,
Wow.
and yeah, the rest is history. We end up filming, and
That
so
is
yeah,
so cool.
it was cool. It was exciting, and that was my first role. So I learned about being, because it's one thing to just be in acting
Yeah.
class and do all of the stuff. It's another thing to actually be on set
Sure.
with actors and actresses who've been doing it for years and
Was that
years.
intimidating?
It was. It was intimidating. It was nerve wracking. But I felt like I belonged there. Like I felt,
Purpose.
yeah, exactly. Like I felt like it was what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, let me compare it to your story. So from 13 to 19, I'm acting. I'm doing all of the stuff. I'm making all of the money. I'm meeting all of the right people. I'm growing. I'm being successful. But it's not filling that hole in my heart.
Yeah.
I'm going on set, but I'm addicted to pornography.
Hmm.
I'm memorizing lines with Oprah, but I'm dealing with my own issues, addictions, alcohol, temptations. Um, and so, yes, while I felt like I was meant to be there and I was called to, and I was created to do that type of thing, bring joy and emotions to people in a way that some other people can't. I don't think necessarily I was doing it in a way that God would have had me do it.
Right, right.
I was doing it to glorify me, not Him. Right. And so,
I think that's what happens to a lot of people that may navigate into that world. You have to be ready for that fast, glorified life.
if you are not standing on anything, you're going to fall. You're going to fall.
And
Because as soon
temptation
as,
is so easy.
and here's the thing, you got people that's pulling you. Well, don't worry about it. Just do this. It's going to be okay. Well, no, you could just kiss that. Well, no, you could just do this sex scene. Well, no, you could just.
Yeah,
And if you don't believe in something, you're going to fall for anything.
yeah.
And that's where I
Oh, that's good.
was. I was in this place where I just wanted to be famous.
Yeah,
I just wanted to have a lot of money.
yeah.
And not that anything's wrong with money and fame. It,
No,
it, it is the desire. So much so that I'm willing to give up anything else in order to receive it. That's where I was.
and when you desire that more than you desire God,
Yes.
you
And
know.
that's where I was. It even got to a place where I was willing to give up God in order to receive that.
Let's talk about how you got there.
So growing up, we always went to church on Sundays. Um, I sang in the choir, I sang solos and things like that. Melodies from heaven. I was
Yeah,
singing stuff like
yeah.
that, in church. And
Right now, no, yeah,
yes, exactly. Come on. And but I never read the word.
yeah,
Even as a family, we didn't really get inside the word, and we didn't do like family devotions and stuff like that. We kind of just went to church, um, and then you get in the car, you don't even remember what the pastor talked about.
yeah.
That was kind of how it was for me, and so because of that, I wasn't really rooted in Jesus.
Mm.
It's one thing to just go to church.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
another thing to be rooted. Rooted meaning that when a storm comes, you got an anchor that's holding you down. I didn't have that. So when the storm came,
So it was performance and not ministry.
it was it was bad religion.
Yeah,
Because I don't think religion's bad. I think it was bad religion
yeah,
though. It was just straight tradition. I didn't know why we did it. I didn't know who we did it for. I just knew that this is what we did and this is how we did it, and so I'm just gonna follow along. So I did that all the way up until I graduated high school, and then I got to college.
mm.
And this is where I would define the storm. This was that season where a storm came, and it really tested how deep my anchor was and how deeply rooted I was in Christ.
Yeah.
And I found out that I wasn't rooted at all.
Oh wow.
I remember getting to UL, and UL Lafayette is where I went.
Hmm.
And when you first get to college, you either hanging out with your friends from high school, or you're
Yeah,
trying to find some new friends, right?
pretty
Like if
much.
yeah, so like if somebody from my high school came, then I'm just gonna hang out with them. But I didn't really have a lot of people from my high school that was there at the time, so I'm just trying to figure out who I'm gonna hang out with. And I had these guys that I started hanging out with, and they would smoke blacks. And so I never smoked before in my life. Like I had drank a little bit. I went to the club a little bit underage. I used my brother ID and to get into the club.
What clubs you used to go
I
to?
don't even remember, but that wasn't bad. That was really down here though. Like we would travel because I'm from Patterson, and so we would travel an hour and a half just to come to Baton Rouge and come to the club.
Oh
I'm
my
about
goodness.
16 years old, 15, 16 in
Oh,
the
to Baton
club.
Rouge to go to
Yeah,
club.
bro. Yeah. and so we're doing all of that stuff, but I never drank or nothing like that. I mean, I never smoked or nothing like that. And so I got to UL, and they'll smoke blacks in front of me, but I would never, whatever. So one day I got curious. I was like, well, let me try that. Like they
Mm.
didn't even pressure me.
You
I was
just
like, let
said,
me
"Let me
let
try
me
it."
try that. So I did, and that led me to start smoking blacks.
Hmm.
And then this is my. You mind if I go here? This is my
No, go
testimony.
there. I want you to go there.
And so then I started smoking weed with my roommate.
Yeah,
And he's a good dude, but like he would do that all the time.
yeah,
And I remember when I smoked the black, my guy was like, yeah, but you gotta try this, like weed, like that's the thing. And so I did. Start smoking weed. Now I went from smoking weed once to smoking weed every day.
Yeah.
So now I'm not singing in church.
Getting high.
I'm not acting. Yep. I'm not making music. I'm in school. Barely going to class though.
Wow.
And so I wake up, get high. Before I go to bed, get high.
Distractions.
I'm partying every single weekend. Um, cheating on my girlfriend. Um, I'm doing heavier drugs now. I start doing LSD. I start drinking lean. I start taking ecstasy.
Wow.
I'm literally doing
You got
everything
consumed.
my parents taught me not to do
Yeah.
because I
Got
got
consumed.
consumed.
Got
I
consumed.
100% did. That was first semester of UL.
So all it takes is to open the door, right? Once
Because
you
sin
open
will
the
take
door,
you further than
it's
you
gonna
want to
take you
go,
further than you want to go.
and it's
That's
going to
it.
keep you longer than you want to stay,
Come
and it's
on.
going to cost you more than you want to pay.
Come on.
And that's literally what happened. But I didn't see it. Because what the enemy does is he'll say, you should do that. But he won't warn you what it's going to cost you. And then when you do it, he going to point the finger and blame you and make you feel guilty.
Yeah.
So the person who tempted me to do it is the person that's making me feel guilty for doing it. That's the enemy's tactic.
Yeah.
And so I'm in this cycle of drinking, doing drugs, partying, all of this stuff. And then it got to the point where I start questioning my faith. Like, is God really real? You know, is this just for nothing? I'm failing school. I think I made like a 1.4 GPA that semester. Like, not showing up to class. I'm telling you, like, it was,
Man.
yeah,
And
it was
spending all that money
wild.
going to school.
Acting money.
Hmm.
Not even going to school. Going on drugs. Yeah, Dad, let me get $50 for food. Let me get $200 for the spending
Yeah.
it on drugs. I need money for my books. Nope.
What was the turning point? What was that moment that brought you to a place where you said, enough? This is enough. I can't do this anymore. Something has to change.
Yeah,
What was that moment?
it was really rock bottom to the point where I was looking down and I realized there was no way I could go but up.
Tell me about that rock bottom moment. Do you remember
I
where you
sure
were?
do.
Let's
April
talk about it.
25th, 2016. Um, 7 years, about, what is that? 7, almost 8 years ago. Um, I was in my dorm room, and me and my homeboy, we had did some drugs that night, and just being crazy, being dumb, and just a lot of stuff that happened where I felt like I felt like I was about to die, and I had a sobering moment where I realized I could really die.
Like really, really.
Like I am not that this is one of the issues that young people deal with. We think we're invincible.
Mm,
We don't think nothing could touch us. But in that moment I was convinced I am not invincible. And I took it
my
too
God.
far. This is 2 o'clock in the morning. That was so we did all of this stuff on April 25th, but then that morning, April 26th, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I start praying to the Lord. Now I'm dealing with not even believing in God.
Yeah.
So for me to even pray to the Lord was huge. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning, April 26, 2016. I'm praying to the Lord. Lord, just save me. Help me. Please. That's it. That's all I
Yeah.
said. 7 o'clock in the morning, I get out a notebook. I felt like God had spoke to me. Never had nothing like that before. I didn't know nothing like that. But I felt genuinely like God was speaking something to me. So I took the notebook out. I didn't know what it was until I grabbed that pen and I started to write. This is what I wrote. Read the Bible. Listen to worship music. Exercise. Drink water. Wait, you care about that stuff? I didn't know you cared about real life. Like, I thought it was just like church stuff. Oh, so you care about like me. You care if I'm healthy. You care if I'm taking care of myself, if I'm taking care of this temple. You So that morning, 7 o'clock, April 26, 2016, I put that notebook down. Say, Lord, I'm done. My life is yours.
My God.
I gave my life to Christ. I wasn't in church.
Where were you?
I was in my dorm room by
At
myself
UL.
at UL, 7 o'clock in the morning.
My God.
Gave my life to the Lord. Ever since that day, He's been guiding my steps. I knew I didn't want to go back to UL around all of the people, so I
Yeah.
ended up dropping out. And I went to a Bible college.
I was gonna go there. I
Yeah,
was
come on.
actually gonna go there.
Come on.
So when we change the things that, well, when we change our focus, sometimes the things around us have to change. Like
Mm-hmm.
the people we're attached to
Yes.
may need to change.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that we hate them, but that just means that that season for being attached to them is over. And where God is taking us, they may not be able to come with us.
Mm-hmm.
I believe truly that a lot of people's hindrances from getting to their purpose is due to their attachments.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're attached to people that suck up all of the energy and life
Mm-hmm.
out of them, direct them to go into places and rooms that they're not meant to be in,
Talk
to drink
about it.
from cups they're not meant to
Drink
drink
from.
from,
Yep.
and do things they're not meant to do.
Yep.
And after a while, they lose track of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And their purpose is way down the road.
Yep.
And it seems so far away that it seems unachievable.
Yep.
And so then they give up.
Yep.
So, what would you say to somebody in this moment who may feel like, I'm too far gone?
Mm-hmm.
I'm too far gone. I'm stuck. This thing is so far away from me. They don't feel any worth in themselves. They have a gift.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know where to start to operate in it. What would you tell them?
I would say number one, Jesus died for you. Like Jesus didn't just die for the world, He died for you. Um, and that yeah, there is a purpose. There is a there is a plan that God has for your life. And I would say that if you give your life to Him, the word says, if you lose your life for me, you will gain it. And I really understood what that concept meant the moment I gave up the things I thought would give me life. And what I would tell you is, number one, you need to lay down the things that you think is giving you life and go to the one who's actually going to give you life. And then once you go get that life, just like your story, He's going to speak to you what He's called you to do.
Hmm.
And when you have a word from God, that's going to anchor you so that no matter what comes your way, discouragement, bad results, people who are giving up on you, whatever, it don't matter. I got a word from God. So I'm not going to give up on my purpose because God said so. And I think what we've been missing, and what I want to encourage whoever's listening to this, is that we need a word. We can't just stand on feelings. We can't just stand on, or I think I should. No, you go get a word from God. What has He called you to do? And then you do that thing. Go get life from the one who has given you life. And then go make a difference based off of what he's told you to do.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And so with the Trulogy, we even try to encourage those who may not even believe in God. And I'm not going to say, okay, it's okay. So it's okay, not okay, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you believe is what you believe. And so let's just say, you don't believe in
Right.
I've had people say all the Jesus stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know? If you don't believe in all the Jesus stuff, your purpose is still out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that in the process of your purpose, if you don't know who you are, but you are walking in the correct pathway that leads you to your purpose. See, God can still be with you
Mm-hmm.
along the way. You may not believe in Him, right?
Yep.
God deals with the unbeliever as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about somebody that's an unbeliever and how God can operate in their life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we talk about how in my story, I was singing in church. I was I was acting, I was, doing all of these things, and I think that I had the favor of God in this way on my life, that he gifted me to do something, and that he's not a repenter of gifts.
Yeah,
Meaning that once he's given you that gift, it doesn't matter if you believe, if you don't believe,
there
whatever,
you
that
go.
he's given you a gift to use. And I do think this, that apart from him, there is something missing that we can only find whenever we partner with him.
That's awesome.
And so I would say, number one, that gift has been given. It's not called a gift if it wasn't given to you. um, but I would say that I would encourage you to partner with the one who did give you that gift, and watch him do more for you than what you can do for yourself.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. That's good stuff.
Hmm.
So what's up next? What's
What's
up
up
next?
next, bro? Music.
Yeah.
Music,
So
man.
you laid down acting.
So I laid down acting when I was about 18, 19. About a year and a half ago, I made a decision to pick that back up, to pick music back up, to pick all of that back up. So really acting, music is my goal, is to really walk into all of those things.
That's good.
Yeah, and so I'll be releasing a single at the end of the year. I will be doing a lot of stuff next year, traveling and doing some things. And yeah, so that's really what's new, is I'm just walking and just trying to do what God's called me to do and be obedient within that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell everybody how they can find you.
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Instagram at Ike.msc. That's Ike.msc. And then you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at The Ike White. Oh, and follow me on TikTok too at Ike.msc. I have fun on TikTok. So
We're gonna hear you sing on TikTok.
uh you might hear me do a little something. Yeah, actually, yeah, I like to really post my music on my social media and
Okay.
like really give people a teaser to.
TikTok.
Yeah, so follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, and then subscribe to my YouTube channel, and support your boy. Yeah, we on a journey together, so let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. And you already know, you can find him on the Trulogy podcast on
Yes.
YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know every time a new episode is dropping. It's definitely a time for you to listen in, comment, and make sure that you consume some of the good energy, some of the good information. Get your notepad, write it down, take a
Hmm.
picture, do whatever you need to do, but you could rewind it and you could get a double portion
Yeah.
of what happens right here at the Trulogy podcast. You have any
Let's
closing
go.
remarks, Warren?
No, that's it. Trulogy Podcast, baby. I love it. Thank you so much for having me.
I
I
appreciate you being here.
appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you're doing. You are ministering. We talked before this about how you really have a vision, to affect people's lives.
Yes.
And I just want to commend you for that. I think you're
Thank
doing an
you.
amazing job. I think that what you are wanting to do, God's going to use it for somebody.
Thank you
So,
so much.
absolutely.
God bless you.
You too.
All right. I love you guys. I'll
Peace.
see you soon.
Let's go.